Hello everyone, my name is Joy and you are welcome to Learning with Joy. In today's lesson, we shall explore phrasal verbs that are related to money. The first phrasal verb is to splash out. To splash out. To splash out means to spend a lot of money on something, especially something that is a luxury but you don't need it. Examples: Jake splashed out on a weekend trip to Paris to celebrate his promotion. My neighbors splashed out on a brand new car, even though their old one was still working fine. The second phrasal verb is to fork out. To fork out. To fork out means to unwillingly pay an amount of money for something. Examples: I had to fork out $200 for car repairs last week. The company had to fork out a significant amount to settle the lawsuit. The next phrasal verb is to shell out. To shell out. To shell out means to unwillingly spend a significant amount of money. It is similar in meaning to fork out and is used informally in conversations. Examples: I can't believe I shelled out so much for a phone case that broke in a week. She shelled out $500 for front row tickets to the concert. The next one is cough up. To cough up. To cough up means to unwillingly give or pay money, especially when forced or pressured. Examples: he refused to cough up the money he owed me until I threatened legal action. We had to cough up an extra fee for express shipping. Our next phrasal verb is to run up. To run up. To run up means to gradually increase the amount of money that one owes by buying a lot of things or by borrowing money in a way that it becomes difficult to manage. Examples: I did not realize how much I had run up on my credit card until I checked my statement. They ran up a huge bill at the restaurant and now they are struggling to pay it. Chip in. To chip in is our next phrasal verb. To chip in is when each person in a group gives a small amount of money so they can buy or pay for something together. Examples: we decided to chip in for a new coffee machine at the office. The students chipped in to buy a thank you gift for their teacher. To dip into is our next phrasal verb. To dip into. To dip into means to use or spend part of your savings, often for something unexpected or something not planned. Examples: Mrs. Smith had to dip into her children's college fund to cover her medical bills. Peter had to dip into his retirement savings when he lost his job. Our next phrasal verb is to save up. To save up. To save up means to keep money over time so that you can buy something in the future. Examples: I have been saving up for a new laptop, but it's taking longer than I expected. He plans to save up enough money to buy a new car by the end of this year. To put aside. To put aside is the next phrasal verb. To put aside means to save money for a particular purpose or future use. Examples: she put aside a portion of her salary every month to save for a vacation. We've been putting aside money for years to buy our first home. Our next phrasal verb is to cut back. To cut back. To cut back means to reduce the way you spend money, often as a way to save money or manage finances more effectively. When someone cuts back, they make fewer purchases or spend less on non-essential items. Examples: she had to cut back on her shopping habits to stay within her budget. The company is cutting back on expenses to improve its financial situation. To scrape by is our next phrasal verb. To scrape by. To scrape by means to manage to survive with just enough money, usually in a difficult financial situation. Examples: she has been scraping by after losing her job, but hope things will improve soon. They had to scrape by after their savings ran out during the pandemic. Our next phrasal verb is to squirrel away. To squirrel away. To squirrel away means to secretly or carefully save or store money for future use. This means the person saves money in small amounts over time or for a specific purpose, often in a quiet or discreet way. Examples: she has been squirreling away money for her dream car. They had been squirreling away money for a down payment on a new house. To get by is our next phrasal verb. To get by. To get by means to manage to survive or to meet your needs with the little amount of money that you have. It means that while a person may not have much, they are able to manage or cope with their financial situation. Examples: he had to sell his car just to get by after the business closed down. We are just getting by on one income since my partner lost his job. To pay back. To pay back is our next phrasal verb. To pay back means to return or repay money that you borrowed from someone. It means to settle a debt or fulfill an obligation after borrowing money or receiving financial help. Examples: I borrowed $100 from my friend last month and I plan to pay him back tomorrow. She has been paying back her student loans for 5 years now. To pay off. To pay off is our next phrasal verb. To pay off means to fully repay money that you owe. Examples: he finally paid off his car loan after 5 years of payments. They were able to pay off their mortgage earlier than expected. Our next phrasal verb is to put down. To put down. To put down means to pay part of the total cost of something as a deposit or down payment with the intention to pay the rest later. This is often done when purchasing something expensive such as a house or a car. Examples: they had to put down a $500 deposit to hold the wedding venue. They decided to put down $2,000 as a down payment for the apartment. To rip off. To rip off is our next phrasal verb. To rip someone off means to cheat or deceive someone by making them pay too much for something or by selling them something of poor quality. It means that the person is being taken advantage of financially. Examples: the salesman tried to rip her off by charging her twice the usual price for the item. The mechanic ripped me off by overcharging for the car repair. Our next phrasal verb is to tide over. To tide over. To tide someone over means to help someone get through a difficult period, especially by lending them money until they are able to manage on their own. Examples: Jane borrowed some money from a friend to tide her over until she gets paid next week. The government sent financial aid to tide families over during the pandemic. To plough back. To plough back is our next phrasal verb. To plough back, also spelled as P-L-O-W, plough back in American English, means to put money made as profit back into a business in order to improve it by making it bigger and more successful. Examples: he plowed back the money earned from his business into opening a new branch. The company decided to plow back all its profits into expanding the new product line.